Initiative 2020. Our program will begin soon. Welcome to Visa Everywhere Initiative Pandemic Challenge, an open innovation program that tasks startups and fintechs to solve the payment and commerce challenges of today and tomorrow. Today's participants represent the top 4 startups out of 283 applicants recruited globally, with technologies to better support small businesses as they deal with the pandemic and recovery from it. Participants will compete to win a total of $60,000 in prizes. To select the winners, we have a robust panel of 5 seasoned judges. It's time to kick off Visa Everywhere Initiative Pandemic Challenge. Here's your host, Abadasi Osansade, founder and CEO, Hustle Crew, and VP Global Community and Belonging, Brandwatch.
Hi everyone, my name is Abadesi and I'll be your host for the Visa Everywhere Initiative 2020 Pandemic Challenge. We are excited to have these finals live streamed at the Visa Payments Forum. Visa has selected an impressive cohort of startups and fintechs, all who are doing impressive work in supporting small businesses during this global pandemic. The challenge question these startups are answering is: how would your startup help support small businesses to recover from the economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and accelerate deployment, since timely access is so critical right now? These companies are poised to change the world of payments and solve the challenges of tomorrow. Before we dive into the competition, I want to introduce our esteemed judges. Mary Kay Bowman, SVP, Global Head of Buyer and Seller Solutions, Visa. Terry Angelos, SVP, Global Head of FinTech at Visa. Susan Carreri, SVP, Global Head of Merchant Sales and Acquiring at Visa. Kim Kadlec, SVP, Global Marketing Solutions and Product Marketing at Visa. And Mark Jameson, SVP, Global Head of Innovation and Design at Visa. A virtual round of applause for our judges. Our 4 finalists today are Tracy Klein of eGifter, Charlie Wilson of Greenbits, Yona Doda of Rent Profile, and Daniel Yu of SocoWatch. How will today work? Each of our 4 finalists will have 4 minutes to pitch, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A with our judges. Startups will be judged on challenge fit and pitch presentation, value added for small businesses, desirability, and feasibility of product or solution. Once all startups have pitched, the judges will deliberate privately and select the winner, who will receive $50,000 in prize money. For those of you in the audience today, your votes will decide the audience favorite winner, who will receive $10,000. After all 4 startups have pitched, a link and QR code to the voting page will pop up on your screen, along with instructions on how to place your vote. You will have 2 minutes to cast your vote, so stay ready. I also want to give a warm welcome to Nigel Verdon, co-founder and CEO of Rails Bank. While the judges deliberate later in the show, Nigel will sit down with Visa's VP of Global Product Marketing, Jennifer Anapolsky, to share an interesting conversation about how they are supporting small businesses during the pandemic. We will also hear about his experience as a Visa Everywhere Initiative finalist, his journey in Fast Track, and his recent investment by Visa. Now, let's get to the pitches. Firstly, welcome to Tracy Klein of eGifter. Their virtual gift card solution is helping to support small businesses affected by COVID-19.
Hi, my name is Tracy Klein. I lead business development at eGifter, a gift card provider in New York. eGifter is located in a co-working space on Main Street in a small town called Huntington. Small businesses line Main Street, restaurants, salons, boutiques, even a cat cafe. It's an awesome village and we are very active in the local small business community. COVID-19 has been tough on our local merchants. With their doors closed or operations limited, many are struggling to survive, including one of my personal favorites, the Book Review, one of our area's last independent bookstores. Small merchants everywhere feel the same pain as the Book Review. When the pandemic hit, we had inquiries from small businesses in our hometown and on main streets just like ours around the country, all looking for a quick way to sell gift cards online to drive revenue. We wanted to help all of them, but we had no simple solution. There are three primary challenges for SMBs trying to launch online gift card sales. First, setup fees. Other gift card platforms can cost $500 to $5,000 to launch, which is not justified for a small business who may only sell a few gift cards per month. Second, chargebacks. Online gift cards are often the target of bad actors due to the immediacy of delivery. If a merchant approves bad orders, the results can be costly. And third, point of sale integration. There are a multitude of POS systems used by small business, and many, especially those for restaurants, do not support e-commerce. All of these factors leave struggling businesses with no viable option to quickly and affordably launch online gift card sales. eGifter's Storefront Builder addresses these challenges. It dynamically builds an online gift card site for each merchant. A merchant like the Book Review simply signs up and enters their URL, logo, and merchant ID, and other basic information about their program. With Visa as our partner, using the Visa private label service, we would create the equivalent of a closed-loop gift card for any small business with zero point-of-sale integration required and no upfront costs. The site created by the Storefront Builder, like this one for the Book Review, has a PCI-compliant checkout and card-not-present fraud indemnification. The merchant can promote their online gift card sales immediately and with confidence, knowing there is no big financial commitment and no risk of chargebacks. Gift cards can be physical or digital. Digital cards can be saved to Google or Apple Wallet for in-store redemption anywhere Visa is accepted. We have analyzed the market size and found that fewer than 1% of the 30 million small businesses in the United States currently sell gift cards online. With Storefront Builder, all merchants can begin selling gift cards online immediately. More SMBs accept Visa than any other credit card, making Visa the ideal partner for our solution. With the gift card Storefront Builder and Visa, the Book Review and small merchants across the country could generate much needed online revenue. eGifter's technology was built for enterprise clients, so we are ready to power a program of large national scale. Automation enables us to quickly onboard tens of thousands of SMB merchants. The eGifter Storefront Builder provides an important new revenue stream for small merchants like the Book Review with zero risk. Visa will benefit from the opportunity to capture revenue from the $200 billion U.S. closed-loop gift card market. Together, our solution addresses the three key challenges for merchants. eGifter eliminates setup fees and chargeback risks, while Visa eliminates the need for point-of-sale integration. Opening a new revenue channel can help save small businesses and jobs in challenging times with Visa at the center of the solution. Thank you for considering eGifter's Gift Card Storefront Builder.
Thank you, Tracy, for an incredible pitch. Now, over to our judges for the Q&A. Mary Kay, you are first up. Questions for Tracy.
Tracy, was wondering what other innovations you are thinking about to help your company scale to meet the needs of all of these 30 million small businesses in the US, things like cost per acquisition or cost of service.
Sure. So in terms of roadmap, we certainly see, ourselves expanding. We see loyalty offerings or other card-linked integrations and bonuses for special offers as roadmap items. In terms of scalability, really the key to that is our ability to automate. So the Storefront Builder and, working with partners like, payment processors and acquiring banks can really help us bring this solution to market at scale through automation.
Thanks.
Amazing. Thinking about scaling is always so important for business success. All right, Terry, how about you? Questions for Tracy?
Tracy, love the idea. I'd like a bit more background as to how redemption works. As you mentioned, it can often be a difficult process at the point of sale. So when I go to the book review, how do I actually redeem the gift card?
Sure, glad to clarify. So we expect to work in tandem with Visa and select partners, like issuing banks, as I mentioned, payment processors that would restrict the cards to a specific merchant ID using a restricted authorization network or a RAN solution. So the gift card would work, the Visa card would work, the gift card would work as powered by Visa at that specified merchant. So in this design, any merchant who can accept Visa at their point of sale already is a potential merchant and participant in this program.
Incredible. Tracy, you've thought of everything. Susan, do you have questions for Tracy?
Thank you, Tracy. Very excited to see this work. We love anyone that's helping small businesses grow. But many businesses have had to adopt in significant ways because of COVID. This perhaps is your example of a way to start adopting your business to sell through to small. What other ways have you adopted your business and operating model to survive?
Our personal business model, well, when we all went remote, we were, fortunate as a tech company to be able to adapt to that pretty quickly. We've been able to keep our entire team intact. We understand the challenges of working from home and juggling all kinds of different priorities. We were in a hotspot in New York, so our concerns were very high right from the beginning, but we've been able to get through it, stay healthy, and just keep our focus on our clients and been able to service them, 100% from the very start of the pandemic.
I love the resilience that came through in your response and your ability to adapt so quickly, Tracy. Let's move on to Kim. What questions do you have for Tracy?
Hi, Tracy. I love how consumer-centric you've been in developing these tools for merchants. Wondering how you would envision working directly with Visa. Would that impact your current roadmap?
No, not at all. We expect Visa to be an important partner in this project, as well as working with other Visa partners to bring on the merchants. Potentially thousands at a time. We would see this being an opt-out solution. So therefore, a payment processor could come on board and bring on, thousands of their customers all at once, working through the Visa network.
Thank you, judges. That was brilliant. Now, please welcome our next finalist, Charlie Wilson of Greenbits. They are empowering cannabis retailers with a safer, smarter, and easier way to manage day-to-day operations.
Hi, I'm Charlie Wilson. We're Greenbits. We move cash to digital forms of payment in one of the fastest growing industries of all time. The regulated cannabis industry in North America is large and getting larger. It'll be an $85 billion category by 2030. It already impacts and touches nearly 250 million people in North America. And importantly, it's a 100% cash category. Our customers will accept more than 500,000 $20 bills this year, almost 200 million over the course of this year, and the industry at large will accept 1 billion $20 bills at the point of sale. That's a lot of touch points for small businesses, their employees, and the consumers of these businesses. Meet Danelle. Danelle's a Greenbits customer since 2017 from Detroit, Michigan, like many, many others. In fact, his neighbor owns a coffee shop. Two important distinctions about Danelle's small business. One, while he wrestles with a lot of the same challenges of other small business owners, he moves substantial amounts and sells a lot of product annually, 3 to 4 million in sales each year. Some of our largest customers do 40 to 45 million in sales each year, which rivals a Nordstrom. So they look and feel like small businesses in lots of ways, except they're very, very large businesses and accepting a lot of cash. The second important distinction is that Danelle does not have access to mainstream financial services. It's very specifically electronic payment processing. So he takes in all of those sales via cash. Enter Greenbits. Greenbits is the central nervous system for cannabis retailers. Like Square brought tablet technology and the integrated payment services. Toast revolutionized that at a vertical level for restaurants, MindBody for wellness. Greenbits does it for the cannabis industry. It's a purpose-built platform. It has compliance at its heart, proven at scale, and handles all sorts of things from inventory management to compliance management to point of sale. It's the leading software solution in the industry. We handle almost $4 billion in sales each year, again, all in cash, 85 million transactions, and about 25% of all dollars processed within or handled within the United States. The challenge, how would Greenbits help support small businesses during this COVID pandemic? Well, importantly, the risk of disease transmission through the contact points of those $20 bills, it's here to stay. It's imminent, but it will be perpetual. The industry employs nearly 250,000 people in the United States alone. Most of those are disproportionately racial minorities, and they serve millions of consumers and patients each year. And there are other ancillary benefits to digital payments beyond the contactless elements. There's transparency for regulators, safety for communities, and efficiency for these business owners. So how do we respond? Opportunity number one is to accelerate our entry into Canada. Canada is a federally regulated market that we're not currently serving. We intend to go there in 2021. Through collaboration with Visa, we can move into that market quickly and bring the leading solution of integrated software plus payments. An opportunity two, work with governments here in the United States. Build an empirical body of data of the benefits and the impacts of cashless transactions on this large and growing industry within the United States, bringing important relief to consumers and small businesses alike. So our vision is to build safe, smart, easy solutions for regulated retail to help unserved small businesses like Danelle throughout North America and the world run better, more effective businesses, protect consumers and and employees alike, and enable government agencies to do their jobs more effectively. With that, I appreciate your time and welcome you to Greenbits.
Amazing pitch, Charlie. I love that financial inclusion element too. Brilliant. All right, judges. Mark, do you have any questions for Charlie?
Hey, Charlie, great pitch. I love this vertical solution for the industry, and it's one that's really needed for safety and compliance across the board. My question to you is, these are small businesses, and small businesses are notoriously difficult to reach. So how are you reaching these businesses to get them to adopt your solution?
Yeah, great question. The regulated cannabis industry is regulated by definition. We work with these licensed operators. So identifying the solution set is known. We go to market through content marketing, educational pieces, and then work with an inside sales team to educate and serve these customers.
Mary Kay, over to you. Questions for Charlie?
Thanks, Charlie. How would the compliance aspects of Greenbits make it easier for traditionally regulated financial institutions in Canada be comfortable with the risk of their merchant services for these customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with regulated retailers. We build compliance automation into the solution. There's a massive burden of product and inventory tracking, distribution and dispensing capabilities. We build that into our vertical workflows in our software. So it protects the retailer, and then bringing contactless payments, bringing digital payments to the forefront helps these businesses amplify their business and drive safety into their businesses for community, for their customers and their employees alike.
Great, thanks.
Brilliant. All right, Terry, do you have a question for Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie, I was wondering, what are some of the compliance issues that are unique to this vertical that your software is solving? I love the toast analogy. So what is sort of unique here around inventory or tracing?
Absolutely. In the cannabis industry, there's a notion of seed to sale tracking. Imagine at a Starbucks having to report the origin of the very coffee bean that went into the coffee. So that level of inventory tracking and monitoring is in place in the regulated cannabis industry. So you can imagine manual methods trying to do that are incredibly burdensome and incredibly error prone, putting the license holder at risk and potentially abandoning or alienating that privilege of being a license holder.
Brilliant. All right, let's hear more from the judges. Kim, question for Charlie?
Sure, Charlie. Very interesting. You know, cash conversion and transparency is incredibly important to Visa, and we look at it at a macro level. So I'm wondering if this pilot you're proposing is successful, you know, what techniques could be applied to other very cash-heavy regulated industries?
Yeah, it's a great question. So bringing digital payments to this particular industry with an integrated payments and software offering is kind of key in the first step. As I mentioned before, it's an $85 billion industry by 2030. So a very large category in and of itself, but think about the applicability and the extensions to other vice or regulated industries. Convenience stores would be a great example of a place where you bring technology and compliance insight in a way that probably should have been built ground up and could be extensible in other categories.
Great, thank you.
We're moving closer and closer to that cash-free future. Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much, judges, for that great Q&A. Next up, welcome to Yona Doda of Rent Profile. Rent Profile is digitizing the rental market by automating rental transactions, helping agencies and landlords save time and money.
Hello, my name is Yona, and I'm the head of marketing at Rent Profile. We're a PropTech startup on a mission to power trust for the rental market. Rent Profile was founded a few years ago after one of the co-founders became a victim of a rental scam. Together with his brother, they launched the UK's first online lender background check, which was recognized by gov.uk and featured on BBC One. Building on this, the company developed a unique tenant screening technology and over the past 2 years established itself as the best solution in the UK. To date, we have screened 25,000 tenants and are proud to work with clients such as Berkshire Hathaway Homes UK. Working closely with landlords, real estate agents, and tenants, we realized that there was an even bigger opportunity. What you see here is a typical scenario in a rental transaction. Agent Matt from a small local real estate agency has brought along paperwork to sign and is showing Patricia and her husband a rental property. Matt might go back to the office to send out emails, make phone calls, or meet again with Patricia. He spends 65% of his time in non-revenue generating activities and about 2 weeks of admin per tenancy end to end. With COVID-19, it has become an absolute necessity to digitize and automate the rental flow. So over the past year, we've developed a new product called Onboarding that streamlines the setup and management of new tenancies, making it easier for landlords, agents, and tenants to transact with each other digitally. Agent Matt can start by creating a new tenancy in under a minute. Patricia and her husband get notified and start applications through a dedicated renters app, including payment of deposit and tenant screening. All parties can then sign the agreement electronically and tenants pay for their first rent. With Onboarding, real estate agents and landlords do not need to meet people to collect cash or handle paperwork anymore. Their average admin time of 2 weeks per tenancy is now reduced to 20 minutes. Matt can easily adapt to his new remote work environment and, whilst reducing physical interactions, with time, increase the number of his deals by 50%. Onboarding is currently being used by our clients in the UK, but we're not stopping here. The potential for a global product is huge. There are hundreds of millions of renters and very low market penetration. In the US, less than 2% of rent payments are made via debit or credit card. Onboarding provides a universal solution that can allow us and Visa to tap into this global $1 trillion market. Making use of Visa Direct API, we see distinct advantages when scaling internationally. Lenders and agents like Matt, the majority of whom operate as small businesses, would receive funds faster as renters would have more access to credit, be able to pay in real time anywhere in the world without the need of a local bank account. This would prevent delays and failures of affordability checks and allow lenders and real estate agents spend more time growing their businesses. Just like Visa, we share the same values about trust and convenience. It would be our honor to join forces with Visa so our products can benefit a greater number of businesses in the world, especially at this time. Thank you.
Fantastic. Wow, where was Rent Profile in my uncomfortable student rental days? I needed this a decade ago. Okay, let's turn to our brilliant judges for the Q&A. Mary Kay, questions for Yona?
Yona, you said that rent fraud and a rental scam was part of your founding story for your company. Can you give us a little bit more understanding of how that, what that actually looks like in real life and how it affects the trust for customers?
Thank you for your question. So rental fraud can happen on both sides. It can be a landlord who is pretending, actually a fake landlord pretending to own a property, who rents to usually young people, or it can be a renter who is actually not showing their real self, and that's where we come in and build that trust bridge. I was reading recent statistics actually in the US from 2 years ago, where more than 10% of people under the age of 30 had been victims of rental fraud, and that costs millions of dollars annually.
Well, thank you. Building trust is so important.
Okay, how about Mark? Questions for Yona?
Hi, Yona. I love this solution because it solves a pervasive pain point that's real. And my question is, what's your revenue model? Is it a license fee? Are you taking cuts of transactions? Like, how are you generating revenue?
So at the moment, it's free for tenants to use. We charge real estate agents and landlords a small fee for the services that we provide. We also have an API that we offer to partners with a shared revenue model, which can actually also help us further scale.
All right. Susan, questions for Yona?
Yana, this is a very complex problem because it looks different geography to geography. A question I have, though, is how are you thinking about the other money flows? Because it's not just the movement of money between the tenant and landlord. There's so much money moving between landlord and agent and tons of other suppliers. Are those also in your purview?
Yes, most definitely. And that's why we see an opportunity working with Visa. Making use of the Visa Direct API, for instance, we would facilitate real-time rent payments between the tenant, agent, and landlord, or it could work between tenant and landlord only. And this is faster than traditional ACH transfers. There's lower risk for fraudulent transactions and overall a better experience for all parties. And in the COVID-19 context, I believe that this is no longer a luxury, but an absolute necessity, considering that these are small businesses and rely on these payments as their main source of income. And in the current climate, with many businesses struggling to remain open, receiving funds instantly can make the difference, or in more extreme circumstances, can save someone from losing their property or missing their mortgage payments.
Thank you.
Yes, gotta love APIs, the power of APIs. Okay, thanks for all those brilliant responses. And thank you, judges. And next, our final pitch today. Let's give a big welcome to Daniel Yu of SocoWatch. SocoWatch is providing access to essential goods for small and medium-sized businesses across the African continent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Yu, and I am the founder and CEO of SocoWatch, a B2B e-commerce company serving mom and pop stores in Africa. Right now, there are over 10 million mom and pop stores in Africa who collectively sell about $600 billion a year in essential goods to their communities. This is the largest consumer vertical on the continent. Emily is one of these 10 million shopkeepers and one of SocoWatch's 15,000 current customers. She lives in the Kibera neighborhood of Nairobi, Kenya, and she runs her shop while watching after her 3 kids. Like most other shopkeepers, she sells about $50 a day in goods, and about 99% of those transactions happen right now in cash. On top of that, she doesn't even have a bank account and has no access to loans or lines of credit other than the shady money lenders in her community. Through SocoWatch, however, Emily is able to order goods for her shop through an app or through text message and get those goods delivered same day free of charge. On the back of that, after she ordered a few times, Emily actually got access to the SocoWatch credit program, where we extended to her a line of credit that she was able to use to expand her orders and her inventory. And ultimately, she saw over 30% increase in her monthly sales as a result of that. Right now, SocoWatch works with 15,000 shops just like Emily across 4 different African countries, with several more still to come. In order to do that, we've actually built out our own technology, own warehousing, logistics, and infrastructure while working directly with some of the largest brands in the world, in addition to local companies as well. Currently, with the COVID-19 crisis, Emily's community, as well as many others across Africa, are really suffering as a result of the weak infrastructure and vulnerable informal economy that dominates in those areas. As a result, it's really had an exacerbated economic impact on these low-income communities. In response to that, SocoWatch has actually launched our SocoCash e-wallet program. What this has done is actually connected shops, consumers, and brands to better serve the community through a fully digitized form of payment. Through this program, we've been able to work with brands who have actually issued digital vouchers to consumers that they've then been able to use to come to shops to redeem for products during this critical time. We've already launched this program and actually seen that the average shop has increased their weekly sales with us by about 54%. We believe that this can be the foundation for starting to chip away at those 99% of transactions that currently happen in cash. Through Visa, we believe that there's a huge partnership opportunity to layer in virtual and physical cards into that form of e-wallet and payment. This is similar to how e-commerce companies like Alibaba have been able to transform their businesses by integrating in payment solutions like Alipay that have really radically increased the access to their ecosystem and digitized formerly cash-driven economies. So in conclusion, we believe that SocoWatch, in partnership with Visa, could help really drive a digital transformation in payments for retailers like Emily, who currently rely overwhelmingly on cash. For us at SocoWatch, we believe that this can ultimately lead to higher utilization of our services. And fundamentally for Visa, we believe this is an opportunity to integrate early on with the largest B2B e-commerce company in the fastest growing continent in the world. Thank you very much.
What a pitch. So many incredible and impactful applications of Visa products and technology. Right, let's go to the Q&A for Daniel. Okay, Susan, questions for Daniel.
Daniel, this region is close to my heart, having been born in Uganda and raised in Kenya. But it's a tough set of geographies to navigate. So I'm interested in your business model on both the supplier and the consumer side. 2-part question. One is just, how do you make money on both sides? And then second, what about the risk? Do you take the risk on inventory and the risk on consumer losses as well? Or the seller losses, sorry?
Great question, Susan. So in terms of our business model, we actually do source products directly from these large manufacturers like Unilever, like Procter & Gamble, but also local manufacturers as well. And we're able to do that because we're aggregating the bulk demand of these tens of thousands of small mom and pop stores that we work with. Through that, we get the best products at the best prices possible and are still able to actually provide free same-day delivery to these stores at the regular market prices that they would pay, if not a bit cheaper. So that difference in terms of the margin of the product is how we make our primary revenue today. In terms of how we actually work with the shops, and the losses or the risk, as you referred to with perhaps our credit program, we do take that on. However, we know these shops better than anybody else. We have this actual digital financial transaction history with them, some of them stretching back years, that give us that perspective on how this business is actually doing. And that's allowed us to actually lend and support to these small mom and pop stores better than anybody else in the market.
Thank you.
I love that nuanced approach. I think it's so important for that geography, as Susan alluded to. Okay, Terry, questions for Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. Yeah, great pitch. I'm curious about how you're getting the brands to participate in this market. This is a hard market for a P&G to influence a customer. And so through the e-wallet solution, are brands actually providing some of these discounts and promotions to customers?
Exactly that. During these tough times when brands really struggle to connect directly to consumers in these communities in general, what the SocoWatch ecosystem has allowed them to do is actually reach out directly to both shops as well as consumers who buy from those shops to give them discounts to make these essential goods more affordable during these difficult times. And that's really driven that increased engagement through this network of small mom and pop stores and the people in the communities who rely on them.
Got it. Thank you.
The power of community is really thriving in pandemic times, and it's so great to see that. Okay, Mark, any questions for Daniel?
Hey, Daniel, this is super exciting. We know from our work in those markets that when you provide access to inventory, displace cash, provide credit, all sorts of good things happen. So I'd be interested to know, like, what sort of lift have you seen in the retailers and small businesses you've worked with once they have the solution in place?
Great question as well. So we've actually seen a over 54% lift in the just transaction volume of these retailers once they have access to these different tools and programs. So really the potential to unlock the growth of merchants and retailers and communities in Africa is so enormous. It's really just a matter of getting these tools into their hands.
That's really impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Kim, how about you? Questions for Daniel?
Yeah, thank you. This is a fascinating company, and I love the mission and the access you're providing in a very complex territory. And I think this builds on what Susan just asked, but in East Africa, I mean, how are you thinking about connecting the buyer side to the informal retailers to enable that bulk purchasing? And it sounds like you're thinking about that, but are you passing that benefit through, or is that part of your business model and revenue generation?
So great question as well. To be clear, we're already doing this today. We have millions of dollars a month actually in goods that we're helping to procure on behalf of these communities. These are the essential goods. This is rice, soap, toilet paper, you name it, that's needed in these communities. And so for us, this is really our core business, our bread and butter. And the consumer angle, which is really a B2B2C play, is this opportunity to reach out to those actually, quite vulnerable households during this time, those families who rely on that local corner store to get their stuff, and actually provide a way to connect the brands who want to give back to the community during this time with this e-wallet program that's allowed us to connect all these key stakeholders, from the manufacturers to the small local shops to the families as well.
Terrific. Thanks for that clarification.
Connecting all the dots, that's SocoWatch. Okay, judges, thank you so much for your questions. Great job, Daniel. Judges, please do remember to vote. Wow, kudos to all of those startups for pitching. It's certainly not easy to do it under this pressure for a prize so big, but they did a fantastic job. Now, audience members, check out the link on your screen to vote for your favorite startup. The startup with the most votes will win $10,000 in prize money. You have 2 minutes to vote. Remember to come back to listen to Nigel Verdon, the co-founder and CEO of Rails Bank, facilitated by Visa's Jennifer Anapolsky. Now, a warm welcome to Nigel Verdon, co-founder and CEO of Railsbank. To interview Nigel is Visa's Jennifer Anapolsky.
Thank you, Abadesi. I'm so excited to be here today to speak with Nigel Verdon, CEO and co-founder of Railsbank. Railsbank was a 2019 finalist in the Visa Everywhere initiative and also is now a Visa Ventures portfolio company. Nigel, thank you so much for being here.
Jennifer, thanks to you and the team and everybody for the invitation to talk about Railsbank and also learn about the new finalists.
Yeah, it's an exciting day. Now, where are you dialing in from?
I'm normally based in Singapore, but in COVID, I got stuck in the south of France and I've been here since then. So I'm dialing in from the sunny south of France today.
But there are worse places to be for sure. Well, we've got viewers dialing in from all over the world today. Can you tell us all a little bit about Railsbank for those who aren't familiar with your company?
Sure. Railsbank is a banking as a service platform that enables any business or brand to prototype, launch, and scale financial services globally. So think of us as the platform that enables anyone to be a fintech by embedding financial services in their own customer experience. So think of supermarkets, neobanks, airports, food delivery, employee benefits. And we sort of like to say, with a nod to Stripe, is like embedding finance in 5 lines of code to the original of accept payments in 2 lines of code. The product set is banking as a service, cards as a service, which is issuing, processing, program management, compliance as a service, and we're just launching credit as a service. And all that is based upon our core Railsbank operating system, which is a multi-asset class ledgering transaction platform that can support any financial product. Live in UK, Europe, Southeast Asia, just launched in the US with a former platform team from Green Dot, and plan to be live with our credit cards as a service. We're working super closely with Visa on that very soon.
That's impressive. Can you share with everyone a little bit about how your involvement with Visa and the Visa Everywhere initiative has transformed the opportunities for the company?
Yeah, it really introduced us to Visa. It's played a massive pivotal role of our engagement and everything. And as you mentioned, last year we were a finalist in the Singapore edition. We didn't win. An amazing company did win. And in fact, it was super impressed with everybody who was there. And it brought us amazing exposure with people. So people just reading the who's who, like Kunal, who's the country manager in Visa, Charlotte Hogan, the CEO of Visa Europe, Jenny Mundy, who's like myself, has a passion for sailing. She's an round-the-world sailor from UK and Ireland, and many, many other great people within Visa. It's gave us exposure and engagement, and we didn't sort of come in from the cold. We were giving us a warm reception wherever we've met Visa in US, Europe, Southeast Asia.
You know, it's a great point. There's so many terrific companies that go through the Visa Everywhere initiative, and you know, the winners and the finalists are equally impressive, and lots of opportunity for everyone. So it's always good to keep that in mind. How are you navigating during? Oh, go ahead.
So as I was just saying, also Visa, the initiative has sort of really helped us work closely with Visa, understanding us as well as a company, because again, we were nobody beforehand. And it sort of paved the way to fintech fast track participation, principal membership, and the Series A investment that was done by Kevin Jakes and his team. So the sort of standing on stage as a finalist in a sort of sweaty, humid evening in Singapore has led to amazing things afterwards. So it's a really super supported program.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, today's finalists will be standing on virtual platforms, dialed in from all over because we're in this pandemic environment. Can you talk a little bit about how Railsbank is navigating the pandemic challenges and opportunities?
Sure. There's one thing we did launch was to help people in need get paid because government money wasn't coming out to old people who needed charity to help them, for example. So we launched a product called lightningaid.org, And that went from idea to Apple App Store literally in 8 days. That's I think it's one of the fastest ever been launched. And that was a neobank card and its own brand and everything. So that was, and we have a lot of the music industry roadies all being paid through that, because if you're not touring, and these are all self-employed, there's a hole in the government support of self-employed. We've helped these people who'd be like touring with Kylie Minogue, with Madonna, and everybody actually receive benefits and carry on living. Other areas, it's been super interesting to see how your team works. And we've got a global team spread all over the world. And works, bizarre enough, we found the productivity of the team has gone up by about 20% if you put a measure on it. And people have been able to get part of their lives back. Instead of commuting 4 hours a day, they've got either 4 hours more work, which is probably quality, but they've actually got 4 hours more quality time and less stress coming to work. So it's been an interesting experience, I think, and I think the world has changed now of work and how we engage and everything. But we're also lucky because we're a digital first business. We've been growing 10+% every month all the way through COVID, which is thanks to our customers who are also digital first customers as well.
That's tremendous. That Lightning Aid product is really very impressive and has particular resonance and applicability now, but you can see that that way of doing disbursements will really be here to stay. Why would we ever go back to the old way of doing disbursements? So really exciting to see that kind of innovation come forward during this time.
It's really because the scheme rails, Visa rails enabled that, because you've got instantness of money getting to somebody, and then they can go and buy groceries. And that's super important because we do need to eat and things. And so it's, and look at the traditional banking system, it's very hard, and especially in environments where disbursements can take 2 to 3 days to arrive in the bank account to operate. So that it was a sort of coincidence of purpose between a bad situation and technology and innovation all coming together to enable that.
Right. It really gives a strong sense of purpose to the work, and there's nothing more meaningful than getting money into the hands of people who need it. So thank you for everything that Railsbank has done to enable that. Just as a final question, can I ask, do you have any words of advice or words of encouragement for our finalists today?
First, I wish them all the best of luck in this particular different environment, because it's all digital, but because it's sort of online and digital, they're probably reaching a massive audience at one time. So wish them luck in that, and don't be phased on the audience. So you're getting huge exposure. And don't forget about, it's all about the engagement of Visa with you, whether you win or you're just participating and things, because Claudia and her team will support you throughout this journey on finding capabilities, expertise, and part of this was our discovery of all sorts of interesting product that Visa has that we didn't know, and we've now put that into our, we're like magpies, put that into our product. And so that was super useful. And then the cohorts, engaging with the cohort, the alumni, that's real magic and things. And a total plug for us. Of course, all the finalists can remember Railsbank is here to help you prototype, launch, and scale your Visa products globally. So please do get in touch for that.
Great perspective. Nigel, thank you for sharing that. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. And best of luck, everybody.
And now I'll turn it back to Abadesi so we can see who wins.
Thank you, Nigel and Jennifer, for that interesting discussion. Before we announce our winners today, Terry, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Abadesi. To Tracy, Charlie, Yona, and Daniel, those are outstanding presentations, informative and thought-provoking, and it's been a really tough decision on the judges. Luckily, I'm not the person who has to make the final call, and I'm going to hand it back to Abadesi to find out who our winners are today.
Thank you, Terry. Now, welcome back to our 4 finalists and our lead judges, Mary Kay Bowman and Kim Cadleck, who will announce our winners today. Before we announce the overall winner, the audience also has a say in the outcome. Thanks so much to everyone out there for your votes. The audience favorite will receive $10,000 in prize money. Amazing. Kim, over to you to announce the audience favorite.
Okay, the audience favorite winner today for the $10,000 is Yona Doda of Rent Profile. Congratulations. It was a tremendous presentation and clearly a business that fulfills an unmet need. So well done.
Thank you so much. This is truly exciting, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Visa, the audience, and shout out to the entire team for supporting us throughout this journey. It is an honor being recognized by Visa so far, and it inspires us to continue working hard on our mission to power trust for the global rental market. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Incredible. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the overall winner announcement. This startup will receive a whopping $50,000 in prize money. Mary Kay, over to you to announce the judge's decision.
So after careful deliberation of these 4 great innovators, I am happy to share the judges have decided that the overall winner of the Visa Everywhere Initiative Pandemic Challenge is Daniel Yu of SocoWatch. Congratulations, Daniel. So
we might be struggling to get Daniel's audio here, but if I can read his facial expression correctly, it sounds like he's overjoyed, very, very excited. And I know from everything he said in the pitch, this $50,000 is going to make a huge impact, not only in furthering their mission, but impacting millions of people across the African continent. Daniel, thank you so much. Sorry we couldn't get everything you said, but we're so excited to follow your journey going forward. And of course, congrats to Yona Doda as well, the audience winner. Congratulations, everybody. And thank you, Mary Kay and Kim, our judges. A big thank you to our judges and finalists, and a very big congratulations again to our winners. And finally, thank you to you, our amazing audience, for being part of the Visa Everywhere Initiative Pandemic Challenge 2020. Learn more about the Visa Everywhere Initiative and how to partner with Visa. Visit the Visa Partner Portal. I'm your host, Abadesi Osunsade. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.
Thank you.